Welcome to When Good Things Happen, where our mission is to inspire people to discover and learn about all the things that can really make the golden years the very best of your life and share a few financial ideas to help you make your vision for retirement a reality. Host Tom Gandolfi is your guide on a how-to adventure to help enhance your retirement lifestyle.
Welcome. Thanks for joining us for episode 1 of our brand new podcast called When Good Things Happen. My name's Tom, and I'm going to be your host on this journey. And our focus is really going to be on helping you discover new ways to enjoy the best years of your life. I'm president and founder of Three Bridges Financial Group. We are an investment advisory firm that specializes in retirement planning. I've always had a passion for helping people, and that's really a good part of the reason why I do what I do. When I come to work each week, I can help people manage their finances in a way that provides them with financial security and really puts them in a position to have some financial freedom during their retirement years. This podcast is another way that I felt that I could help people out, really from a different angle, but still focused on retirement, which is what we do. With the podcast, again, I think what we can do is we can help expose people to maybe some new ideas, maybe give them a little sneak preview into some fun things they might want to consider doing. We'll talk about money here and there. You know, financial advisors have plenty of podcasts out there right now talking about money in the stock market, and I really didn't want to do that. I really want to focus on what you can do with the money. And really, that's kind of how I look at financial planning. Money and finance and investments, those are all just tools for you to use to help you accomplish whatever it is that you want to do with the best years of your life. And that means different things to different people. You might want to leave a legacy for your children or your grandchildren. You might want to donate to charity. You might want to travel the world. You might want to take up new hobbies. You might want to meet new people. There's all kinds of different ways you can go. We're going to try to talk about that type of stuff during this podcast. It's not going to be a solo show. I'm going to have on a lot of interesting guests, and we're going to have guests that can provide you with some really helpful information about where you might want to go, what you might want to see, and what you might want to do. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I think it's going to give you some real purpose and maybe get you inspired to make sure you're doing the right things with your money so you can go live life the way you see it. As I mentioned, we are a retirement planning firm, and been doing this for quite a few years. My background, though, is significantly different than what you might find in most financial advisors. You see, I didn't come to this business from a traditional path that usually is traveled by those that are in the finance industry. My background actually is one that put me in a position to look at this business from where you sit. I stood in your shoes. See, I was a client. And going back to my younger days, we'll put it that way, which were quite a few years ago, I came out of school, went to work for a big company for a couple of years, and decided that I want to expand my wings and open my own business. So I started a marketing business in North Metro Atlanta. And when the company opened up, it was a pretty simple operation. It was manned by me, myself, and I. It's a one-man show. And we were focused on food marketing in the Atlanta metro area. The business did quite well. I worked hard, put in a lot of hours, a lot of time, and did the things that I felt I needed to do to become successful. And things worked out well. I owned and operated that business for about 13 years. We expanded from the one-man band that I mentioned to over 70 employees. And when I finally sold the company, we were doing in excess of $100 million a year in sales. So it was a great story, but I found that it wasn't really allowing me to live my life the way that I wanted to. You see, as the company grew, our territory grew, and my responsibilities, of course, expanded, which was okay. But I started traveling a lot, and I don't mind doing some business travel. It's part of what many of you have had to do, and I've certainly spent my fair share of nights in hotel rooms for business purposes. But it started out where I was traveling 1 or 2 nights a week, and then I found myself in an airport or a hotel 3 times a week or 4 times a week, and then 5 times a week. And woke up one day and said, this is really going well from a business perspective, and I can't really ask for any more. I've been blessed with the success of this company, but there's something missing. And what was missing was my opportunity to see my kids grow up. And that wasn't something I was willing to sacrifice. So I went ahead and had a conversation with the CPA that I was working with and told him I was going to sell and move on to a different business. And he thought I was crazy. My wife thought I was crazy. Pretty much everyone that I knew thought I was crazy, but I did it. And I would not take it back for a second. I was able to enjoy my kids growing up probably more so than the vast majority of people in our country. And I didn't have to miss softball games or dance recitals or donuts with dad or school functions. I got to see all of those things. And quite frankly, it was priceless. So moving on from the company and getting into a different business was the right move. Now, I'll tell you how I ended up in finance. So as I was running this business and we were going hard and growing and expanding and things were going great and sales were wonderful and revenue was high, those things were all great. And I was laser focused on running that business, as you can imagine. And you probably can guess, since the company had gotten pretty big, I was making pretty good money at the time, and I was investing a lot of that money. And I had worked with a number of different people in that world advising me, and you should do this and you should do that. And I was kind of a young pup, and I was making good money, and things were looking up. And I started working with a wealth manager at a globally known investment firm that I'm not going to mention by name because it's not necessary, but I was sort of in their private client division, and this guy was really good, and he was going to be my guy. So we started investing. This was all taking place in the late 90s, by the way. And things were great. I was investing money. The account was growing. Things were wonderful. But we had a conversation when we first started working together about sort of my mindset with regards to investments. And I like growth as much as anybody, but I work hard for the money that I earn, and I really am not willing to risk significant amounts of the money that I need for lifestyle to invest in things that maybe have a good future and maybe don't. In short, I'm somewhat risk averse. I like growth. I love the stock market. Your money's not going to grow any faster probably than a good stock market investment strategy can provide, but I generally wanted to be relatively conservative with the funds I was investing. And heck, I didn't have much to complain about for a while because the account values were going up. I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention. The company was growing, and all was good. All was good until it wasn't good anymore. And when the dot-com crash happened back in the early 2000s, I took it on the chin pretty hard. And it caught me off guard. I thought I had enough of a conversation with this gentleman that I was working with, managing my money, that he understood kind of where I was from a risk perspective. But either he didn't hear me or perhaps I wasn't clear enough. At the end of the day, I put the losses that I incurred, which were very, very significant, on my shoulders because, I was really kind of paying attention to life and the company, and I wasn't paying attention to my finances, and it left a mark. I got burned pretty bad. Lost a lot of the money that I had put away. My wife and I were still okay. We were in fine shape. We weren't in a situation we were going bankrupt, but a lot of the hard-earned money that was saved and invested was lost. I'm sure some of you can probably relate to that as well. And I'm the kind of person that doesn't like to get burned twice. I'm not likely to make the same mistake 2 times in a row. So when this happened, I decided that it was never going to happen again and that I better get pretty smart about money and finance and investing really quick. So I rolled up my sleeves and I learned about finance. So that ultimately led me to working in the finance industry and opening Three Bridges Financial Group. So again, my approach to this business and my landing in this field is not conventional. It wasn't like I went to school and studied finance and kind of came out and worked for a big company, and I didn't do that. I was a business guy. I was a business owner, small business owner, and had some success, made some money, and got burned by my lack of attention to my personal finances and really maybe some of the lack of transparency in the business. So that's how I got here. I wasn't going to let it happen again. I got smarter than money and decided to launch a business years back. As that business was ramping up, I sort of saw what was developing in our country, and what was developing from a finance perspective was pretty unique. And what was unique was we had a lot of people who were getting older. Our population was aging, and the baby boomer generation was getting very, very close to retirement. And I felt it was a great opportunity for me to use the expertise that I had really earned over the years in finance and in dealing with money for years and years and years, big numbers too. I felt it was a great opportunity for me to help people with their personal finances when they need it the most, and that's as they approach retirement. Retirement is sort of a scary thing for people. You work for 20, 30, 40 years, you make a paycheck every couple of weeks, and you're saving money in your 401ks or your 403bs, and then all of a sudden you decide to retire, and lots of good things happen. And you'll have more free time. You can see family. You won't have to deal with the stresses and the annoyances of work or careers or traffic and all of those things. You can travel and do whatever is important to you, but there is one thing missing, and what's missing is your paycheck. And, your 401k or your 403b doesn't come with an owner's manual. You've got to figure out how to make your money last throughout the rest of your life and in a way that you can maintain your current lifestyle. So you're being asked to do this at a time when you're already pretty nervous probably about retiring and changing up your lifestyle, and you're being asked to do it after having had a career in whatever other industry you might have been in. Perhaps you were a professional or a manager in a business, or maybe you worked for an auto manufacturer, or you were a hairstylist. Whatever it may happen to be, you probably did something other than personal finance, and now you've got to come up with this financial plan. And I thought it was a great way for me to apply what I had learned and apply it in a way that I could help other people out and make their lives just a little bit better. So really, that's what this podcast is about as well. I want to try to make your life better through retirement. And we're going to do that by sharing information, most of which is going to be about fun stuff. Because at the end of the day, your money and your finances are simply a tool to accomplish whatever it is you want with your life. And through the use of the podcast, I'm going to bring in guests, as I mentioned. We're going to talk about things that you might want to consider doing with your retirement years. We'll talk about maybe some new hobbies, volunteering your time, lots of things you can do. And some of the topics are going to be probably exciting and super fun to think about and daydream. Some of them will be a little bit more basic, but still very meaningful to what you might want to do and consider in retirement. We'll also talk about money here and there, because at the end of the day, you've got to be able to finance whatever vision is that you have. So we'll focus a lot on the fun. We'll spend a little bit of time during each episode kind of talking about the nuts and bolts and how you can help yourself accomplish whatever you need to financially to make sure you can go have fun and really enjoy retirement. So that's going to be sort of the background and the summary of what we're going to do. I'm super excited about it. I think it's going to be fun. I know I'm going to have fun bringing in people and talking about their experiences and their expertise and whatever field they happen to be in. We're also going to bring in some of my clients that have some really cool real-world experiences that they can share about what they've done in retirement or what they're planning on doing. And some of them are pretty entertaining stories. So essentially, I hope that I've given you enough of a sneak preview today to encourage you to maybe tune in and check out episode 2. I really think it's going to be a good time, and I think you'll definitely be glad that you invested a few minutes to listen to us and check out what we're doing. So again, thanks for tuning in for episode 1, and really hope you come back soon. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to When Good Things Happen. If you enjoyed today's show, visit whengoodthingshappen.com to share your retirement lifestyle dream, access information about our guests, and sign up for our newsletter. Be sure to rate and review us wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Three Bridges Financial Group is an independent financial services firm that utilizes a variety of investment and insurance products. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management LLC, AEWM. AEWM and Three Bridges Financial Group are not affiliated companies. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as a sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. Three Bridges Financial Group is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute as tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Three Bridges Financial Group.